Now I've got a really quick intro for you today. I just got back from the farm and I've only got about 2 hours to get this video done, and I'm coming down with a little bit of a cold. But I was looking for an all-season dry fly for today's pattern, and I found one in Federation of Fly Fishers Pattern Encyclopedia. The pattern is called the Dirty Rat. Now in the book it was tied by Bob Lay. I don't really know who came up with the pattern, but Lay has a reputation for tying excellent parachute posts, of which I am not that good at, but you'll see how I do mine. But either way, it's a pretty simple pattern, and I think it's going to be a fish catcher. So there it is in the vise, a pretty simple parachute pattern called the Dirty Rat. Now it's not very elegant, but it's one of these that you know it's going to be pretty effective. I'm tying this on a size 12 standard length barbless dry fly hook, and I'm going to use black thread and a 70 denier. I'll catch it in up front and leave it hanging up here about the first third of the hook. Now I'm going to catch in the post, just a white parapost wing right here, one strand of it. I'm going to hold it over and then just catch it in a few wraps in front and a few behind it to make sure it doesn't really spin on me before I start wrapping up the post a little bit. Now, before we go any farther, let's just wrap up the post. And this is one of the trickier things of all parachute posts, just putting wraps around it. You can't put tight wraps unless you have a hold of the post up there. So as soon as you let go of it, you got to put a loose wrap, and then, let go of it again. You can tighten it up and then loose wrap, etc. So we'll go ahead and try and make a post 2 or 3 millimeters here. But if we don't get it high enough, don't worry about it. We can make it extend it a little bit more in a later step. Now I go ahead and catch in my hackle before I do the body. And Barry Ord Clark, he has a tip where he strips off all the hackle on one side. And you can do that. Some folks will say it's a little bit wasteful, but it's probably not really, because you're going to most likely throw the last bit of that feather out anyway. So go ahead and a few wraps up here just to get this hackle post going up your parapost. Now before I wrap either of these, I find it's easier to go ahead and do your body and your tail. In this case we don't have a tail, but go ahead and take the thread back to the bend of the hook. And this Dirty Rat has peacock herl body. So I'm going to take 3 strands. You could probably do 2, but 3 is safe just in case one of them breaks on you. You'll still have 2. And I say that from experience. So enough wraps right here to secure this. Now we can just break these off. Go ahead and take your thread back up to the eye. And now we're going to wrap this herl body, just right in front of the other until we get up there to the eye. Now I'm going to whip finish it up here and snip my thread. And now let's turn this vertical in our vise. And you'll want to remember, hook point up. You'll know pretty quickly if you put the hook point down, you won't be able to wrap it. So let's go ahead and do that and then catch our thread in again right here on this post. And again, you can't do real tight wraps yet until you've gotten several wraps down. And now here is where you might want to extend this post. Is that going to be enough to wrap that hackle? Maybe, but let's go ahead and just extend it a little bit more. Give us a little bit more base to wrap this hackle on. Okay, I think that's going to be fine. Now just separate this hackle from your post and carefully wrap them up here. And since we are wrapping both sides of this hackle, I didn't, strip one of the sides. It's probably 3 or 4 wraps is going to give you plenty. Okay, I think that's fine right there. Leave it up tight. I got some tension on this feather, and I'm going to just try to catch it off. I'm zigzagging this thread to try and get it under these hackle barbs that are sticking out. Now let's snip this piece off. And if you've got a big whip finish tool, go ahead and use it. I don't, so I'm gonna use my fingers here, just pull it out, and I'm gonna try to get my whip finish right up under all these hackle barbs. I should have trimmed that post to size before I did this. You see it was getting a little bit of my way there, but go ahead and just try to close out that whip finish. And we're gonna have a little bit of cleanup on this one, but I usually do. I rarely tie perfect flies, but I think it's gonna be a fishable fly. So I'm gonna go ahead and snip this to size right here, just about as long as a collar hackle would probably be. I think that's good right there. Now let's take a look at it and see if we have any cleanup. Yeah, I could probably trim some of those that are coming down. You see I got a few fibers coming down, but I'm not gonna worry about it. I think this is a fishable fly and I'm fine with it. So I appreciate you watching, everybody. Y'all take care and we'll see you next time.